All right, Ken Orange Theory Trader back with you with another example of infinite scalping on the daily chart using daily candle 3 and candle 4 price action. So let's not waste time, get right into it. Same thing over and over. This is Euro New Zealand for this past week. So this is the daily chart. We have candle 1, which was on Monday, candle 2, which was on Tuesday, and then candle 3 on Wednesday, and we'll do a little bit of candle 4 on Thursday. So we'll go to our replay option and see some of our best setups. Go here. And remember that ideally we do like to take trades off of fair value gaps that are above the middle of candle 1. However, because we expect candle 3 to be, an all day, close solid red or solid green, depending on our bias. If you want to keep going, you can. I recommend though that you stop after 3 compounding trades. So we'll go ahead and bring up the 5-minute chart. We'll bring up the gaps and see what our best entries would have been. So we start when the spread calms down around 6:30 or so, a.m. p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But this pair did give plenty of opportunity. I think I got some of these, but no, actually, no, I was trading something else. I didn't trade this. Sorry. All right, so let's take a look. So the first fair value gap formed. The first fair value gap is key. I like for that one to hold. Sometimes it does form during Asia when the spread is still kind of wide. However, if the spread was still decent at around 645, 635 would have been the first best entry. And do remember that we take trades at a 20 pip stop loss, 20 pip take profit. So 1 to 1, okay, and compound. That's the key. That's how this whole thing works. Okay, this is high risk, so be advised of that. And this one you would have been out in 5 minutes though. All right, so less than 5 minutes actually. As you see there, after the gap formed, this was just straight drop into profit. So again, if you see price keep going, don't get too obsessed with that. Okay, don't worry about it because if you have a solid candle 3, the gaps will hold and you'll get another opportunity. Okay, so remember our rule. We start with 100 bucks. Let's say in this case we risked 50. Okay, which is big, okay? But our hedge against that is if the trade starts to go against us, we try not to let it hit our stop loss. Okay, we'll take ourselves out early, primarily if this gap gets closed above. There will be times that you'll still get stopped out though, so don't risk anything that you're uncomfortable losing. All right, that's why I keep the account balances small. 100 bucks shouldn't. If 100 bucks makes or breaks you, you shouldn't be risking that amount. Start with whatever you can. Okay, but in any event. All right, so if you took this first trade at 6:35, you would have been out in 5 minutes. You would have made 50 bucks in 5 minutes. Okay, good for you. So now our new account balance is 150. All right, so now what we're going to do is our next trading opportunity, we're going to risk 100 to make 100. Okay, 1 to 1. Okay, 20 pip stop loss, 20 pip take profit. So the next opportunity does not come until price retraces up to this fair value gap right here. And remember, when price, if you have a good candle 3, price will hold. I'm sorry, not price, but the fair value gap will and should hold. So the next entry came at, you had a little range here from about, this is 2045, so about 8:45 until 9:15 or so. Okay, with a 20 pip stop loss, 20 pip take profit. If you think the pair can be real volatile, you do 30 pip stop loss, 30 pip take profit. Okay, if you're comfortable with that. All right, but that was at about 9. Let's just say 9 o'clock. You would have been done with that trade at about 9:50. Okay, TP hit. All right, so you risk 100 to make 100. So now your new account balance is going to be 250. Now you're going to risk, let's just say 150. All right, so we're going to try to risk 150 to make 150. But we wait for a retrace into another fair value gap. So if you're short, if you can get some green candles into a fair value gap, that's ideal. And you get one right here that is at 10:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2020. All right, okay, gap did hold. So you would have been out of that one in just a few minutes. You see your price just straight dropped. All right, so if you would have done that, let's see here. What was our risk again? Our risk was 250. I don't know why the 2 isn't working. Give me a second. We risked 250 plus 150. that would have put you at a $400 day. All right. So $400 total profit. Your total profit was actually 300 because you started with 100. Okay. So you would have, 4x your account. All right. And 3 trades. So part of this is just being patient. Use the gaps as a guide. If a gap fails, just stop yourself out early. Wait for the next one. So what do I mean by that? Real quick, and then we'll end the video. There were some gaps here. If I go to select the bar. Yeah, there we go. See, these gaps here didn't hold, right? So let's say you take a trade here, short. And one thing too, I don't like entering around the low of the day. If you see the low of the day, I strongly recommend not going short there. Okay, you really want to wait for price to possibly retrace. But in this case, let's just say you try. And you do 2020 right there. Right. This one likely, I don't know if it would have won or lost. Well, that actually would have been a win, but let's just say we wait a little bit. Okay, so let's just say right here. I'm looking for a loss just to show you what you should be doing. Let me try 30-30. All right. So you're kind of hoping, at this point, let's just say you're late to the party and you want to try to chase price. This is why they say don't chase price, because see that right there. I'm trying to find a loser and I'm still winning. This is funny. Let me try to find a gap that didn't hold. Let's say this one. Maybe this gap won't hold. Let's see. All right, there we go. Okay, so that would have been a stop out. All right. Okay, so proximity to low of day. If you try to go short, again, I strongly recommend don't go short around the low of the day. So, and then, yeah, these might be good here. Let's see. If you try to enter off that gap right there, okay, that gap got taken out, right? And then this gap right here, I think that might have been a successful one. Yeah, okay, but you did see how one of them right here got taken out. So again, if you're going short or even if you're going long for a case of if you're going short, don't go short near the low of the day, and vice versa for going long near the high of the day. I just don't really recommend that. So try to look for those gaps that are a bit higher up in the day. Don't try to do the ones that are like all the way down here. You might make it, they might still pay out, but it might not. Your odds are going to be better the closer you are really to the daily open. Or also remember the range of candle 1. I don't think we have that on here, but let me go back and put it on. I don't know why it came off. Let me exit this and then put it on clean. I thought it was already on it to begin with. Okay, here we go. Right there. Short. Okay, so this middle red line is where I like to see most of the fair value gaps above it. So now I'm going to go back down to the replay. And let's see which gaps form around this red line. It's just certain areas of interest, that's all. So only one, which was right here. Okay, that one. And then this gray line right here is the bottom of the range. So if you got a true breakout of the CR, the candle range high or low in this case, then you don't want to see price come back into the range. So you can use gaps that are near the bottom of the range as well as a guide, because you're hoping that price breaks out of the range and stays outside of it with more momentum to the downside. So again, this gap held out pretty good. And then once you see more momentum to the downside, again, with price ideally not returning to the gap, then this retrace right here would have been good as well. So green candles and fair value gaps may give some of the best odds when you go short. All right, so there you go. And this was a very quick trade. So were there more opportunities? Yeah, like down here, like over here. This was at 7:25 a.m. I'm not going to go through all that, but I say if you can get 3 good trades on a candle 3, you're winning. Okay, you don't have to catch every single move. Just get when you have a bias for the day, try to get it early as you can in the day and just be done. So this is good for trading at night, primarily is what I'm getting at. So first entry again at 16 or 6:35, and then at 9 o'clock and 9 o'clock hour PM, and then one more around 10, right? So there you go. So a few hours, but $400 in a few hours, or $300 profit in a few hours is not bad. All right, so, but that's it. Hope you got something out of that. I appreciate your time and attention. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and have a great rest of your day. Take care.